right, so it's time to build the AI-powered organization. Any data, any cloud, anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm all set to invite our next speaker, Kevin Redmond, the Director, Data, AI, and Automation from IBM Asia Pacific. Kevin, it's over to you straight.
It's my pleasure to be with you today and to talk to you about how you can build an AI-powered organization that will actually lead to significant change in your business, delivering values for your clients, for your employees, and for your shareholders. Delivering cutting-edge, next-generation technology, but in a format which is available and accessible right now. Now, as we start to think about any organization, we really have to start to think about our people, our processes. And one of the key things here is, what is your job? How do I make your role better? How do I enable you to deliver more value? How do I complement that with AI, with automation, to bring intelligence to the work that you're doing, to make you more efficient, to make you able to address the needs of our clients and our shareholders and our employees and our internal stakeholders? All of these things are important, and it's not just up to one organization. Something we have seen very much in the last years of attempts at machine learning and all the talk around data science is that we need to turn your team, the team that you're looking at here, into the data scientists. They need to be the ones with that technology at their fingertips. This is not like it was maybe a few years ago when we started talking, having data at your fingertips to be able to make a decision. This is actually the next generation of that. This is talking about how do you put AI through automation or with automation and complementing with automation into the hands of your teams so they can make smarter decisions in a faster time with more trust in those decisions and through the exclusion of bias, but by bringing in a lot of data sources which maybe weren't available before in order to make those better decisions. But at the same time, we all recognize the need to do that in an efficient, in a cost-effective, and controlled and secure way. And that's how we're doing it. So when you look at your teams and you look at your teams going forward, the question you should be asking yourself is, how do I enable my teams to become the change that is needed in the organization, leveraging AI? And that's what I'm going to show how IBM is approaching that challenge. So as we mentioned, organizations have already started to embrace data-driven decisions. It's key. All organizations are starting to recognize that the digital transformation isn't a nice to have, it's a must have. And that's been going on for a number of years. But we're also recognizing that embracing data-driven decisions comes with its own challenges. We still are finding data in various silos. We're finding organizations doing their own thing, creating their own rules, maybe not actually leveraging the rest of the assets which are available to the organization. We're finding that the data is in the wrong format and models and actually is providing completely wrong results. We see it all the time. Even on the best intentions, we are seeing data-driven decisions creating mistakes due to assumptions that are being made. A very standard adage is your data models are only as good as the data scientists that wrote them. Well, why don't you work with IBM, where we have thousands of the best data scientists in the world that come across these problems day in and day out and are driving success, and we have the controls in place to deliver trust and be free of bias. That is how we're trying to drive our business. Now, as mentioned, that's not an easy task to do. It's not an easy thing. Nobody just wakes up one morning and says, I want to be an AI organization and everything is in place, and they just start to proceed. No. You need to get the foundations right. We've talked in the past about there is no AI without IA. In other words, you can't do AI without a good information architecture. Yeah, we have progressed from that. We have progressed from that, and we are now at the stage where we are understanding some of the mistakes that have gone on previous engagements. Big data is a buzzword for 10 years or more. We used to do things by putting everything into a Hadoop database and hoping that would be enough. It's not enough. We need to actually be able to access the data in the right format, have enough data associated around that, enough metadata around that to understand data lineage. We need to understand how the answers are coming from our systems. And at the same time, we need to recognize that with the advent of cloud, with people embracing cloud, and with multiple clouds available, you're actually seeing a massive proliferation of apps, of data silos that you didn't see before. It used to be a very tough thing to go and start up another data silo. You took all sorts of approvals. Nowadays, you can have people doing that with their credit cards in various formats. Different organizations are spinning up their own things in a completely uncontrolled manner. How do you rein that in? How do you bring sense to that? But how do you also make sure that you're giving your teams the flexibility to do what is needed in the business? It's a challenge. It's a challenge. And therefore, we've started to move towards what we see as a data fabric strategy. This is recognizing the reality that we see in our clients. We're recognizing that we do have data in various silos across the organization. We're recognizing that we need to still bring that same experience across the organization in terms of the capability to deliver AI results. We recognize that we cannot go on a rip and replace with everything. Clients don't want to do rip and replace. There's investments in there, that there's technology that is too tricky at times to move, at least in the short term. And they want to recognize that there is flexibility. So how do we do that? Well, we're virtualizing a lot of the data at scale, but the key thing here is to actually have the knowledge of the data at that source, to be able to tie that knowledge to the different outcomes across the business, to be able to tie it to the SQL knowledge, to tie it to the data governance knowledge, to tie it to the AI outcome. And that is where you get the data fabric. This is allowing us to take data from various sources, keep it where it is, deliver that data with a lineage and with a markers which will allow you to understand where the data has come from and how it got there and how it ties in to other parts of the business and other parts of the data. By allowing us to create that gives us more insight, gives us more flexibility, and it gives us the ability to deliver that data in near real-time cycles. So let's look at it in a little bit more detail. Now here you can actually see how we can actually take data from all those various sources. You have it coming from S3, from AWS, you have it maybe from DB2, you have it from Snowflake, Azure, from any kind of data source that you may like to look at. You also have it in some object storage, we have it in various endpoint applications as well. How you take that data, you're using our new features around AutoSQL, which allows you to tie that data in together, to virtualize that data together when combined with the auto catalog, which is more than just a standard business glossary catalog. It's actually tying in the interconnections between the data points, which then allows you to make assessments around who should be able to see that data, who should be able to access that data, how you can provision that across various applications without having to go through 20 different stages with each application and saying who gets what level of access. You can already control that level of access just based around the data and the knowledge of that data. And you can share that then across the data fabric so that it's clear for everybody to see. On top of that, you now then bring in all our auto AI capabilities, which turns that data into the real value that your employees are needing. It allows them to make faster decisions with accuracy and with insight. It allows your field engineers to make decisions on the fly based around the network traffic that they are seeing, maybe on their cell tower, and make some judgments around how to fix that. It makes your call center teams understand very quickly next best action, or actually other issues that may be coming up across the business, and they can actually see that in real time in front of them and make decisions, especially when they're dealing with the high-end clients or high-end issues. It allows us to do so much more, everywhere from the accounting function, marketing function, sales functions, any part of the business. It speeds that up and provides better insight, all while still keeping in place that flexibility and that infrastructure that you have invested in already. So when you start to look at it from an overall, you can see here we've got the data fabric at the bottom. We've got our lifecycle tooling around Cloud Pak for Data, which again is following the same conversations that we've had in the past around collect data, organize, analyze, and infuse. So nothing has changed there. And then we're bringing on top of that our applications. Our applications around AI lifecycle to make sure that our data models and our AI and ML tooling is staying up to date. We've got our open pages, which is a specified tool just for risk and compliance. We have budgeting and forecast tools. We have a lot of different tools which can then be built on top and deliver instant value to the business, instant value to our users. But the work that is done is at the bottom. The work at the bottom creates the flexibility and the value that gets delivered seamlessly then at the top. That allows your employees to act with intelligence, to act with knowledge, whilst trusting the outcomes that they are looking at and trusting the data and the decisions they are making, and can validate that and understand how those decisions are getting made and present that to the business, to the clients, and if necessary, to financial regulators or other regulatory bodies. So it's a really powerful end-to-end statement. And we're not saying that you need to rip and replace. We're saying how you can actually complement what you've already got in place. So act smart, bringing in automation, bringing in AI to deliver value to the business. So this is where we are seeing the market moving. We are seeing clients recognizing the need to be able to modernize. As I said, to be able to modernize without the rip and replace. So modernize in a simple fashion. They can replace things as they go, but they want to keep that continuity of the business. They want to keep that investment in place. How do they do that in a secure way? How do you automate and make secure? Well, I've just shown you around the data fabric, how by using that tooling, you can control the data which is actually presented to the end users, both from an application and a data access point. So you can secure what is given to who. You can make sure that that is a seamless end-to-end secure chain. So that is not broken, and you have confidence in what is being accessed and by who and by for what. And at the same time, you're still delivering on the outcomes, on the business outcomes which are needed, and on actually enabling your teams to be able to have that data in their hands, that AI outcomes in their hands in an automated and fast fashion. And that is why we're seeing clients like HSBC and Tech Mahindra from a partner side all working on this space. We have many more, but I won't be able to share all the logos with you. But this is a key differentiator. We know Gartner just made some statements recently that if you are not investing heavily in AI in the next 2 years, you are going to be left behind. It is the number one investment return for CFOs in the next 2 years. Your business will depend on it, your outcomes will depend on it, and your livelihood will depend on it. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what is the goal and how are you trying to do it? If it's 5 data scientists sitting in a room, they are not going to move the needle for you. You need to turn your organization into a team of data scientists acting on AI insights. And we are not alone in understanding this vision. We are working with many names that you would recognize. You would see a lot of people that who maybe you even think are competitors to IBM, but I can tell you not, they're our partners. We're working with all of these companies here in terms of how do we deliver value to you? How do we, in an open ecosystem, deliver value through accessing data from various types by leveraging services, open source communities, different software capabilities, which can all complement and deliver value through that data fabric to your employees, to your clients, so that you can deliver the most amount of value. It's a simple thing to say. It's a simple thing to say, but it's not a very simple thing to do. And that's why IBM has been working at this for many years. That's why our tooling has been developing and developing. You can see the timeline of IBM's investments all the way from winning chess games 20 years ago, or maybe more, 30 years ago, to Watson winning at Jeopardy, to us being able to have automatic AI tooling, which can deliver hyper-automation on your desktop so that you can run AI programs and have them automatically signal to you when you may need to do something while you go and work out on something else. So you're delivering AI to your teams, to your clients in a seamless fashion, but you can have trust that that is delivering the right outcomes. So when you look at your team and you go back to the office, when you look at the team, when you look at your organization, you should be looking at your organization that says, how do I empower that organization to leverage AI? What could I do with my organization of 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 employees? How can I empower all of them to be AI enabled in a seamless way, which is going to deliver value to my clients? And if you want to help with that, I'm sure IBM will be there to take you on that journey and to work with you on that journey. Enjoy the rest of the event, and thank you.
Kevin, thank you very much for your address. I'm sure many key takeaways while you'd be busy tweeting and sharing your learnings as well using our official hashtag. While I bring our next speaker onto the stage, I would just quickly run you through and remind you to check the briefcase icon, the digital certificates, which is just a recognition of you attending the conference. So make sure you download that. You can have a look at the agenda anytime you feel like. There's a help desk that can help you and can solve your queries just in case if you have any in terms of navigating through the platform, right? Or any other thing just in case. Well, I think I just got a second delayed because I took a little break while playing the car rush game, and I left it midway because, of course, I had to do my duties of getting the next speaker on board, who is a person I would like to say with all heart, both in terms of his knowledge and demeanor. So, ladies and gentlemen, while I just get connected to him, I'll be right back. You please be there. Stay tuned.